morning and welcome to Wholesome Roots. Right here behind us is the paddock that the goats had just been in. You see it's well browsed down and completely eaten. That is how we do our management here, is give them an opportunity to eat a whole section of pasture and then we move them. So Ryan just set up this new paddock up here with all this new growth and vegetation to eat. So after questioning whether spice had gotten into a toxic plant, I decided it would probably be best to remove the pokeweed from their new paddock. Not because pokeweed has ever caused any sicknesses before for us. Our goats have been around pokeweed and they have even eaten some young pokeweed and it's never even made them sick. So, but if they ate a lot of it, it could. And although I didn't see any pokeweed in the last setup, this setup had a huge pile of it. So I cut out all the pokeweed and threw it over to the other side of the fence. And then whatever this plant is, I cut out too, because I don't know what that is. That is not something I'm familiar with. If you know what it is, please let me know. And if you know if it's toxic, let me know. So one of the cool things I discovered as I was cutting out this pokeweed, so there's some pokeweed here still I gotta cut out and there, but it was wrapped up in one of my favorite plants. This is passion flower vine. And there is a bud on here that's closed up, but you can kind of see the purple leaves or petals inside of it. And you see the fruit developing. And it's gonna be passion fruit. Isn't that awesome? So there's a big pod on here. Yeah. If it matures, we can eat it. But they don't usually mature here in the States unless we have a really long growing season, which we have here in Georgia. So we might be able to, but I gotta get the pokeweed out from it, so I'm cutting off the tendrils carefully. And another one of the benefits of this plant and why I really love it is, let me see if I can find him now. I don't see him. He was just here. So Passiflora vine is a host plant to a native butterfly, and their caterpillar eats the leaves. And I just saw one. I must have scared him off. If I find him again, I will film him for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this pokeweed out before Ryan brings the goats out. All right, got that taken care of. So while I'm fairly confident that there's no other major toxic plants out here, there could be some. There could be a few here and there. And they could eat it. But they would have to eat an awful lot for it to be that bad. What is wrong?
My boo-boo.
Aww. Did you wash it?
No. There's no thing.
Alright, well I have some cleaning spray for the goat setters. You can use that. It's all natural and good for little boys. Let's go wash it. So anyway, the likelihood of them eating something out here that's gonna be toxic enough to make them that sick is pretty unlikely. Honey, I can't pick you up. Why are you wanting me to pick you up? Boy. Prickers? Well, you shouldn't have come out here then. Oh my gosh. 5-year-olds are not light. Is that better? All right, I'm gonna put you down now. I got you past the prickers. Okay, you all set? Good boy. Oh. The bucks were already out. Yeah. And enjoying themselves. Ryan cut some tree branches for them because he felt bad that everybody else gets new pasture to eat and they have just what's available there. But look how lush it is. they have a lot to choose from. They have all of this stuff, all this grass. They really do have a lot. They just are hungry bucks and always wanting more, just like my little boys. But anyway, we are trying to keep our chins up, trying to move forward from our difficult week and do our best as farmers. And one of the things that we're gonna be doing is my mentor and I are going to run fecals on all of the goats. This is something that you should do on a regular basis with your goat herd anyway, and I just haven't done it this year, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. And rather than paying over $10 a goat, we are actually gonna do it ourselves. We have some great resources and a great guide and a great microscope and all the equipment to do it. So we're gonna actually do our own fecals and see what we can find in there. I have been hearing lots of reports about the southeast being so hot and wet this year that there's been a lot of barber pole, fly on my lens, that there's been a lot of barber pole and strongylus. So those are the two things I'm really gonna be looking for in a fecal, because those are both rather difficult to treat. So getting on top of it early is important. If there is a parasite issue in my herd, I want to know about it right now before anybody else is in danger. And there's always the possibility that we do have an issue. All right, so the worms got so bad on the caterpillar that I just, on the broccoli, that I just harvested it, every single plant, because some of them were so far gone. That one's not that damaged, but there are some in here that are super damaged. And I figured, well, I can harvest now and get a little dinner's worth, or I can wait and let them all get eaten by caterpillar. But I'm just not gonna pull out the BT this time. It's just too far gone. And I don't know if anybody noticed, we are finally getting our first handful of sun gold cherry tomatoes. One of my favorite early first tomato treats. What? That tastes good. So as you can see, the beet bed has been almost completely pulled of beets. We got a big order from that chef and that took out most of them. And now the weeds are coming in. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the rest of the beets, even if they're just tiny. I can just pickle those whole. So that'll be fine. I'm gonna have Rowan help me pull these beets out and put them in a bucket, wash them all down, and then we'll see what we can do with them. Well, if you found an orange one, you can definitely pick that.
Okay, there's lots of stuff here. Yeah.
But you're supposed to be pulling beets or weeds. You can pull weeds too.
Yeah.
Pulling weeds would be great.
Oh, don't worry, one.
I'm pulling weeds and beets
I found one.
because there's too many of both. You found a beet?
Yeah.
Put it in your basket. Well, he's pulling weeds, so that's good. Everything in this bed can be pulled now. Whether it's a weed or a plant, it needs to come out. And then you can plant some new plants.
What plants are already going to be?
Some seeds. We could do some beans, squash.
Excuse me.
Okra. It's a little late for okra, but it'll grow. I've done it this late before. And we got a little harvest at the end of the summer, so it was worth it. Yeah, pull out the weeds. But Liam, if you pull out these, see these? These are beets. You can put those in the bucket, and then you put the weeds in the weed pile. Okay. It was an accident.
I just had to put my crown back. So where was I? This way.
Right in this bed, yeah. See how nice Mama just cleaned out that section?
Yeah. Oh wait. This is, you can take that. You take it. Take the beet. No, this. Yeah. You're good. We're just picking a beet.
Yay! Good job, Liam.
Oh, and another one stuck there. And another one. It's like right
So he pulled a bunch.
here.
That's great, Liam. Yay! Thank you. Yeah, that's another one.
Tomatoes.
Good job.
Tell me there's tomatoes that are getting red. And
You
orange.
shouldn't be picking any tomatoes because there aren't any red ones. Oh yeah, that's a beet.
But there's just some.
Oh, okay. Good job. Yeah.
Let me pick some more orange ones. So this is. Oh, it's back. Hey.
Good job. You're really doing good, Liam. I'm proud of you. Good. Yeah. Good job. Yeah, you're finding beets. Beet.
Looks like somebody just picked it up.
All right, so I was coming up this entire bed here, doing the beets. You see this? Can you see what I've got done? And getting the beets all weeded. And I noticed how many weeds have come into the asparagus and started working on them. And look at this! This asparagus is huge. This was planted this spring. I am feeling pretty darn confident that it is doing so well that we actually will be able to harvest our first year. So next spring, I'm confident we're going to be able to harvest quite a bit of asparagus. I'm looking down at the base and I've got a clump of stems coming up, at least 6 to 10 to 12 stems coming out of each plant root that I planted. And they're even sending out new ones still. There's a little asparagus down here I could eat right now, probably, and not harm the growth of this plant. This soil was so rich and so organic matter rich that these plants are just in heaven. And the celery growing underneath them is looking fantastically plump and heavenly. The strawberries that we planted underneath are all sending out new growth. It's just perfect. So I'm really looking forward to what I'm going to be able to plant in that next bed. All right, y'all. I wholeheartedly believe in garden therapy. Anytime I'm feeling down or depressed, when I have an opportunity to go out to the garden and just work to my heart's content and just keep working as hard as I can, as strong as I want to without any distractions, I tend to start to feel so much better. And I know a lot of it is the endorphins being released because of the exercise too. So I got all the beets pulled, got the bed raked out, and then I dug 3 little trenches. Down the middle trench, I have placed all my sweet potato slips. Yes, I know, very late to be starting sweet potatoes, but it's never too late. And the other thing that I'm gonna do in here is, you're probably gonna say it's too late to start, but I've done it this late in the season and gotten the produce, so I'm gonna do it anyway, because I'm a rebel. But I'm gonna cover up the roots on these sweet potatoes first, and then I'm gonna grab my okra seed and I'm gonna put some okra in, because I love me some okra. And we won't get a lot because it won't be like producing now through the frost, but it will produce at the end of the summer and we will get some okra. So that's always nice to have, even if it's not a lot. I just wanted to touch base with you guys on something. I'm not this bad of a gardener. This garden is in such horrible weed situation and lack of mulch because of time. When I worked full-time as a horticulturist and a gardener, and I had 8 hours a day in the gardens that I managed, they were immaculate and beautiful. And I should really dig out some old pictures and show you guys, because you guys probably think I'm the worst gardener in the world. I'm not, I swear. You ask me any question about pests or disease or anything about how to grow what and when to grow it or where to grow it, I will more than likely be able to answer it or find the answer for you, because I've been doing this a long time and I've learned a lot, and there's so much more to learn, and I'm always learning more. But I just want you to know that this isn't how my garden would look if I had 8 hours to devote to it every day. If I had 8 hours to devote to my garden every day, oh my gosh, it would be beautiful. But that's not what I have. So this is what I have to work with. So I'm really doing a bad job and I feel very guilty. I've let a lot of pest, disease, weeds, everything take over this garden. And it's only because I haven't had the time to come out here and work in it. So it's like when Ryan has a day off, I try to squeeze in some time out here, and it's usually like 1 day a week that I get to do that, because usually there's other stuff going on and I can't devote a whole day to gardening twice on the days that he has off, because we have family stuff to do and, you know, things that need to get done besides the gardening that we need to work on together. So it's not easy, but I'm making do with the best that I have. And every year it's gonna get a little better as Liam gets older. I know it will. So just bear with me and you'll see the progress that I make as a mom. All right, so speaking of not having time to weed, these are my pots that I planted my moringa and pawpaw seeds in. Yeah, those are all weeds. But I came over here to see, because I started wondering why my pawpaw didn't come up. So I started digging in a pot to pull all the weeds out, and I was going to dig the seed out. But once I pulled the weeds out, I saw pawpaw. I'm pretty positive that is a pawpaw seedling. And there are others coming up. You can see right here, there's this tiny little guy. So I've got to be careful pulling these weeds now. But they are alive. Isn't that exciting? So everybody is really enjoying themselves today. All this lush pasture to eat. They are just loving it. And nobody has any symptoms. No diarrhea at all in anybody. So I really don't think that whatever happened to Spice was something contagious. So that's the good news. But the bad news is, whenever we move the goats to a new pasture, they end up having clumpy poop, sometimes slight diarrhea, from eating too much the first day. So that means mommy's gonna freak out when she sees somebody with clumpy poop. She's gonna start panicking and thinking she's gonna lose them. But I need to keep it in perspective and realize that just because a goat comes down with diarrhea does not mean it's gonna die, and I just need to address it just like I always do and do my best and look for any other symptoms even more vigilantly than I normally do. Alright, I gotta be an acrobat. I gotta get way up there. Get some of these flowers down low that I can reach. And maybe pull that branch down and get some more elderflowers from the elderberry bush so that I can make some cordial or wine. Alright, I got it all seeded with okra, planted with sweet potato vine. I even sprinkled some alyssum and marigold seeds across the top. I got all of the asparagus beds weeded. They were a lot messier than I had realized. I left this volunteer tomato plant here, so because it looks like it's doing pretty darn good. Unfortunately, I wanted to get to cutting off more tomato leaves, but I feel like I'm probably getting dehydrated, and I've been drinking water the whole time, but it's really hot out here, so I'm probably gonna have to go in and decompress from the heat. I got all these beets to clean up anyway, so time to fill up the bathtub with some cold water. But I need to stake these tomatoes still. I need to pull this broccoli so I can plant some green beans here. And you can see the gingers coming up down there. See those spiky leaves coming up over the kale? The cucumbers are growing. I picked two cucumbers yesterday off of them, and I'm seeing a bunch of babies. The corn's getting huge. The weeds over here are the worst. So we've got these wild tomatillo and this pigweed amaranth stuff that is covered in thorns. That's very painful. Look at this. You don't believe me. See if I can get it to zoom in. Those are the thorns on this thing, and they're at every single node. But I peeked in at the squash that's growing up out of the weeds, and it has babies. So we'll probably have enough squash for our family, and that's about it. But we got some spent grains from a brewery dropped off from a local farmer who had too much and didn't need it. And I said, well, let's just dump it right here. I can use it as mulch for this row. So I'm gonna try to get that spread out, smother the weeds that are there, and hopefully at least get this row planted with something maybe today, later today or tomorrow. All of those other weeds, I don't think there's anything I can do, guys. I mean, my weed eater's broken, my lawnmower's broken. I don't even know how to fix any of this stuff, and I don't even know what's wrong with them. So yeah, we'll just have to deal with half of the garden this year. So probably weeding those asparagus and stuff is probably the best thing to work on, because it's the thing that's the most savable. Alright, I'm pooped. I'm gonna grab these beets and broccoli and elderflowers, bring them all in, and get them all cleaned up and ready for whatever I'm gonna do with them. And then I think I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you for watching Wholesome Roots. Please like, share, comment down below. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.